I think
And
it's
we
on.
are live.
Yay.
Yay. We
Yay.
will do a little introduction in a minute or so. I just wanted us to join everybody a minute before 3 and Central Time in the US. And hopefully, as people join in, as you're on, post a note in the comments and we'll be able to see. And I'm trying to watch it over on with another tab open too, just because on here I won't always be able to tell who it is. There. Now we can hopefully see. I can see us going. There we are. Central Time in the US. And okay, I'll have to turn that off because how annoying that would be.
And that would be like reverb big time.
Right. Well, I do say that we're at 3, so let's go ahead and get started. I need to remember to look up and not be looking at Vicki down here, but it's hard to resist.
I
So,
know.
welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, people will start joining us pretty soon. As you join us, just post a comment in the chat, so we'll or post a note in the comments, so we will know who is on and be able to greet you. We'll give it a couple more minutes as people are coming in. But this is called leadership. It's called Conversations with Contemporary Leaders. And my thought on the whole idea of it is to get to the heart of culture matters, leadership, and success. So it ties in with purpose driven leadership in life and all of that kind of thing. Today's conversation is with Vicki S. Cannon. We've known each other for 15 years, about, I think.
Yeah.
And the purpose of today is to inspire leaders to upgrade your resilience and manage capacity in a way that honors you, honors your work and your family. And Vicki sure has had a lot of that in the last year, as we all have. Like everybody's had a pandemic and changing work and workspace and school for kids and all of that. But Vicki's had another layer added on to that we'll talk about in a little bit. I'm looking to see if I can't tell who's on or not. So if you're joining us, please post a note so we'll know who's on. It'd be great to see you.
You would.
Um, let's see
Oh,
here. Becca.
Becca's here.
Hi, Becca. Great to
Hi,
have you
Becca.
with us. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Vicki. We're a couple minutes after 3. She is very experienced, so this is going to take me about 10 minutes or 5, but she's got a lot of experience. One thing I love about Vicki is she's from Pittsburgh. My husband is from there too, so we have the Yinzer lingo down. So yay! We met about 15 years ago at an eWomen network networking function, and now we are in NABO and in Central Exchange. And I think you were the one that encouraged me to join NABO 3 or 4 years ago.
I think so. I
Aren't
think
we
we had
having
coffee.
coffee? Yeah, yeah. Yay. I think one of our friends is coming in a minute. And Vicki established her social media company, Canon Social Media Solutions, almost 12 years ago. And she says on there that she, provides social media solutions for businesses looking to strengthen their brand, reputation, and relationships with clients and prospects. So it's not just about posting a bunch of stuff. It's about strengthening the brand and the reputation and relationships. In her past, how she built her business on branding and all of that was Vicki was in merchandising for a major retailer and brand. She also was in financial services. So she learned about client relationships firsthand and started studying branding way back then. And let's see, learns. Oh, I wrote myself a note. She learned social media or social where branding is king and where regulations rule because of all the regulations with the financials. Vicki's also been a mentor for the Rainier Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And she has been married for how long, Vic?
27.5 years.
Yay! And has a grown son.
Yes.
And one great thing, I'm happy Renata Joy is in here.
Hi, Renata.
Oh, Renata started a challenge last October 1st, and Vicki has a walk for 30 days, walk for the month of October last year. And Vicki has walked every day since. So
Mhm.
by my count, that's 396 days if you made it this morning. So
I did make it this morning, but I didn't know how
yay!
many days.
Yeah. So Renata, thank you for that challenge.
Yes.
And then just did it again this past October that just ended last week. So that was a big thing, and was fun to see your photos of your flowers and your walks early in the morning.
Early.
Yes, very early. I know I have one more thing to share as far as the introduction of Vicki. So if you look on LinkedIn, she has recommendations, and one says Vicki is updated and relevant. That's how I describe Vicki and the social media audit she did for my company. Her knowledge about the platform her knowledge about how the social platforms change far exceeds anything our small team can keep up with on its own. Armed with updated knowledge about the platforms and how they are used in marketing, plus her extensive business background, Vicki gave useful feedback, strategic recommendations aligned with our company goals. Once we executed the recommendations in Vicki's audit, results improved within a few months. Her audit was relevant, thorough, actionable, and targeted. Plus, Vicki's fun to work with. It is my pleasure to recommend Vicki for social media expertise to anyone who wants to take their online strategy up a notch or 10 and have fun doing it. And it was my pleasure to have posted that on LinkedIn for Vicki.
I was going to say
So
that was from you.
it was. It was. So I'm excited that we could, of course, talk the whole time about social media and the tips and how much fun we have on that. But I thought, in addition to that, the title of our session is Resilience and Capacity, the art and of keeping it all together. So when people think of resilience, usually people think of just hang in there, like make it through. But what resilience really means is come out better on the other side.
Mhm.
And that's just something that you seem to empower and have faith
Mm.
in this whole time in the last year. So before you tell us the story of the last year, tell us where that came from.
You know, I think it really came from my family, from my grandparents, and from my parents. They were all entrepreneurs themselves, small
Mm,
business owners, and it would no matter what came their way, it was we're not going to let this take us down. We're going to approach this from, hey, let's keep moving, and what can we do from here? And I think that's something that I've always carried with me. Instead of looking at, here's the problem, I've always been looking at what's the solution and what can we do
mm.
next? And it's not always obvious, but you just keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah, you were kind of like the duck gliding across the pond, and
And
it's moving and going places, yeah, but you don't see all the things going on underneath.
yes.
And I know we talked several times in the last year, and just the ups and downs of it all. And again, everybody had it to the with the pandemic, but adding in another layer for you certainly took all of the rest of it up several notches.
Yes.
So share your experience with Graham if you want to just briefly tell that.
Yes. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, my son Graham was 24 at the time, and like everybody with the pandemic, we were here at home. Everything's kind of shut down, and he was getting ready to move out, and then the pandemic happened, and he's like, "Well, I'm now out of a job, so I guess you're stuck with me." It's like, okay, and then he started noticing something we thought was a knot in his back, and then it started growing, and we thought we should go get had a look at it. And in June of last year, he was diagnosed with a very rare, very aggressive form of cancer. Only about 70 other people have ever had it. And it really threw us off for a loop. And July, he had surgery, and they took out a mass about the size of a football.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and then moved into, and because of the type of cancer, he had to go through chemotherapy, which he went through 8 months of that. Took a few weeks, about a month and a half off, and then went through 6 weeks of radiation. The good news is that he is in remission. So we're very,
Yay.
very, very happy to be able to share that.
Yeah. He
Um,
he is unremarkable.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
unremarkable, which is really funny to say, but when you get any kind of scans, if they say unremarkable, that's a really good thing, which
Yes.
we didn't know, and when we start seeing unremarkable, he goes, "I'm unremarkable."
Yay.
But, through it all, it was the interesting part of it was in June of last year after we got the call, it was about 3 hours of feeling sorry for himself, and then he's like, "We're gonna beat this."
Mm,
And I took, Gus and I, my husband Gus and I took our cue from him. And, his positive attitude, not that we wouldn't have had a positive attitude, but I think him just making that decision helped us to make that decision too, kind of calmed us all down. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? And it,
mm,
it took us from that, I don't know what I'm doing to, okay, we're going to do this and then we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And that's how we went through last year. Tough time going
wow.
through cancer in the middle of pandemic.
Yeah. Well, and when people were working from home anyway, and but then your job changed because of it. You couldn't be committed to certain times for your work, so had to adjust that as well. And I know some of our calls were in your car, sitting
Yes.
outside waiting for some of his appointments, and so there's just the whole shift of the pandemic in the first place, and then shifting everything for to accommodate what he needed.
Right. We couldn't depend on anybody else because of the pandemic. We couldn't risk him being around
Yeah.
anybody else. And so I was the transportation. I was the one that got him from place to place to place to place. Gus was holding down the fort at his job, which was an area where he had to go into work because he was essential. And but he was extremely careful, kept himself distant, wore the mask, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, it put a lot of pressure on what I was going to do and how I was going to manage
Mhm.
myself and how much I was able to work because when you're having to go Monday through Thursday or Friday, taking somebody to treatments and things like that, it changed everything that I could possibly do. Plus, that's exhausting. You don't
Yeah.
realize how much somebody else's illness can really take a toll on yourself. And being a mom, it was really hard, just to watch my son go through all that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I thought about capacity for our conversation too, the
Yes.
resilience aspect of the faith. I know you're a faith-filled person as well, and the faith that you'll get to the other side and be stronger on the other side. And then the capacity when, as the mom, watching your son and helping him because he lived with you, not out of town or something, and which is probably a relief in some ways. And then
Mhm.
added a level of exhaustion too. But
It did.
and then the physical toll, mental and emotional toll, or toll on your capacity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and when you look at that, um, capacity part of it, I had to learn strong boundaries for myself.
Mm,
I learned to be able to say no. I learned to go, I can't do this, or I need help, or which is really hard for me to say.
I was going to call you on that one. I was going to
Yeah.
go into a little more detail on that. Yeah.
That's one of the toughest things for me to do is ask for help. And it was really in the pandemic, you couldn't just ask for help. It wasn't like, "Hey, can somebody else take him to treatment?"
Hmm.
So it was like, "Hey, I need an ear."
Yeah.
I need somebody to vent for a few minutes. Um, or even setting up the boundaries of who I would talk to or how much time I could give to that. And
Mhm.
even how much work I could do. I had lots of big plans for last year,
Yeah.
and most of them had to go out the window because I just did not have the mental or physical capacity to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I see, Becca's giving you a compliment of you always have
Yeah.
pragmatic, but very positive mindset and attitude. Right on,
Oh,
Becca.
oh.
And Rachel, good to see you here, and
Hi,
she's
Rachel.
complimenting you as well. And Renata, much love for Renata. Setting boundaries is so important.
Yes.
And
And I
the
had to do that. There was no other way around it. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm able to carry on since remission. I mean, I still feel like I'm coming out of a bit of a fog, because we're still in some pandemic mode. We still have to be extra careful with his immune system. So still keeping very distant. We're not seeing family. We're not doing a lot of things that other people are doing, but still moving ahead, keep on moving, and realizing what capacity I still have, and giving myself the grace to go,
Mhm.
you know what? I can't do this right now, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And being okay with that, which is
Yeah,
really
that's
hard.
well, yeah, and, thinking about not keeping it all together all the time, and
Yeah.
having the ears and the moments that you could let that go. What did you do for that?
Well, you already brought up Renata. I think it was last August is when we first met, and
Mm.
via introduction from somebody. She's in New York City, and it was somebody that we mutually knew, and she started talking about this 30-day walking challenge, and I was like, oh, I don't know, can I do 30 days? Because I used to work out all the time, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And I thought, well, I can do anything, and so knowing that I could do that first thing for myself in the morning, and
Mm.
when I first started that, and how much it really helped me on an emotional level, on that self-care level. It became my moment of zen every morning. First thing I roll out of bed, and that's what I do, is I go do my walk, and it's in the dark, as you talked about.
Yeah, yeah.
And I listen to Audible books most of the time, because I find that I can expand my mind. I feel like I'm still growing and learning, and I am. And to me, that has become a precious time for me, and I've
Mm.
continued it, like you said, since
Yeah,
then.
every day for more than a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we have another friend who's going to pop in too. Two more that want to pop in and share some love with you, Vicki. So,
What?
yes, so here comes Mona Raglow.
Hi, Mona.
And Mona is the director of membership for Central Exchange. And I'm going to let our friend Abby in too.
Well, hi, Abby.
He's
Hello.
here to share some love. Mona, you want to share first?
I tell you what, Vicki, how exciting to see you on this program. And I'm happy for you, happy for Kelly, and just excited about the future for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Yay.
And we had lunch the other day, and we missed you, but we knew that you couldn't come, Vicki. So
One of
um,
these days I'll get there.
yes, yep.
Get
Well,
a little bit
happy
further
lunch.
into the past the pandemic, or past everybody being scary with Graham's immune system, and I'll be all for it.
Yay.
We'll be
Yes.
ready for you.
I think people will be like, not her again, please.
No, they don't either.
Test us. You can test us and find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
we
I want to give props to Vicki. I'm so inspired by you, and just how calm and at ease you are despite everything that you have going on in your life, and what a savvy businesswoman you are. And as a new mom, the way that you are handling everything in your life is truly inspiring, and I feel so grateful to have you as a magnifier in my life.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yay.
You're welcome.
And I just love, this is part of my tribe, and so it's so, you all have held me together this past year.
we love you, Vicki.
Yay. Right on. So special. Thank you both for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
It's good to
Yay.
be.
That's fun. See you
Been
guys.
fun. Thank you so much.
I think I hit that button a little too soon for Abby. Thank you, Abby.
Bye.
I've never had that happen before where people could pop in. So
That's really cool.
yay.
Oh,
Oh, and Becca said hi to Mona. Hopefully Mona can see that.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Yay. You were a role model for so many, even though I never heard you complain or have any pity parties or anything like that. And it kept it all together, but still took time for yourself and let yourself experience the true emotions of the whole thing. And I think that adds to the resiliency afterwards as well. Hey, here's another friend, Krista.
What?
Here's
Hi,
Krista. Hi.
Krista.
Hey,
Krista
Vicki.
Hines, freelancer. Mona, do you want to come back in? Here's Mona again.
Everybody's just hanging out. This is so much
Yay.
fun.
Hey, Krista. We
How's
were
it
just
going?
talking. I don't know if you could hear me. We were just talking about the sharing some love with Vicki and making it through and all of that. If you want to chime in, feel free.
Okay. Yeah, well, I have so much admiration for what Vicki has been doing over this past year, really. I mean, you just you're just remain calm, and I know you probably aren't always that way. You couldn't possibly be. Um, but I just have so much admiration for your resilience through this process. It has been a hard time for so many people, all of us really, but then to have something else on top of all of that is just, you know, it's so hard. And you've just, from my viewpoint, from what I've seen, you've just managed it beautifully. And I just have so much respect for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yay, thanks for hopping in, Krista.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mona. I won't keep. I know. Mona's giving you Kleenex.
I know. Thank you. I was just like, I'm going to have to start doing this. I didn't
I
expect to,
know.
I
So
put mascara
sweet.
on today. Come on, guys.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be showing up, so this is my writing day look.
Oh, you always look good.
Yes.
Uh,
Vicki, I
Mona,
sent it.
you're
I sent an
muted.
email about an hour ago to about 5 or 6 people to see if anyone could pop in, and several of them did already. So, yeah. So I didn't even. It wasn't like I sent it last week or anything. It was just an idea that came up an hour ago. So, thank you
this
so
is
much
so
for
sweet.
coming in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
both.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
See ya.
Terry just joined us on the comments here.
Oh, yay.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry. So good to see you.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes on around people that we never really share, this became a very public thing for us, but there's a lot of people going through stuff and just finding your way through.
Yeah.
And last fall, I decided to do a resilience, which you're a part of as well. I did a resilience, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of different people coming in and talking about resilience because I felt that was such an important topic for the pandemic coming through it. But so many of the things that people share were things that I ended up using or participating in myself.
Yeah.
And it really is about reaching out for a group of people, surrounding yourself with people that care for you, and, doing the best you can, which is all we can ever do.
And you have all of that. And you've been a model of that for all of us, and kept your business going too. So I think entrepreneurs that don't have a regular 9 to 5 or a paycheck every 2 weeks automatically, like a lot of employed people, definitely learn a lot from you and your role modeling as well, and pivoting. And you had a big pivots during the year too.
Yes, I
with
did.
your business.
I did. And, I do training on a regular basis. I'm a contractor with SkillPath, and I'm very thrilled to have them, and was on the road all the time right before March. And then, of course, everything went online. And that has been such a godsend for us because my husband could pick up some of the things when Graham needed to be get to different treatments, and then I could be on the training. And it really was the helpful thing for me because it was an outlet for me to still be able to stay relevant and to feel connected to the outside world in some ways. And then it also provided some regular income for us because not being able to network and do the things I normally do, plus my capacity level was what it was just really hard. And there were weeks that I had to take off even from SkillPath because we didn't have any other way to get Graham to where he was. So, it was tough. It was tough, and it made it harder for us, but we're getting through, and we've had lots of people support us, and really thrilled about that.
Yeah. I know there's a GoFundMe, so I'll share that in the comments after we're
Yeah, thank you.
finished. So for anybody that didn't get a chance to support her, if you would like to, that'd be helpful to their family and well deserved and would be used well. And you worked with me. Remember, it was the end of 2019, and you did
Yes.
my company's social media audit. And I remember you trying to talk me into doing Zoom. And you said, I'll run the Zoom for you. And I was so resistant because I like the live interaction better. But then we all had to go to Zoom. So I think we had booked it, and then the pandemic happened anyway. And now I love it, and I still love live and in person better a little bit. But now I'm somewhat of an expert on Zoom, and I love it. I think of you so often because of your encouragement, and I think I should have listened to her 6 months before.
Well, because what you do can be anywhere in the world.
Right.
And so be able to touch people, not just in your own world, where
Right.
you're living, because you only can be one place at one time.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being able to do something like this.
Yeah.
I have to admit, this is really funny because I hadn't done the live yet on LinkedIn. It
Oh.
became live during the pandemic last
Oh,
year,
yeah.
and I never tried it. And I think it's funny that you're the one that's introducing me to it after all that encouragement. It was like, this is just deserves. Yeah,
Oh, that's so funny. Like, I feel like I've come full circle.
you have.
Yay.
And now the
Yay.
student teaches.
Yes. That's so fun. Hey, we have another friend on here. This is Kelly Chrisman joining us.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
We were just
Hi.
talking about resilience and capacity and all the things of the last year and a half. And welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to chime in with anything?
I didn't prepare any thoughts.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, I told Vicki when some others came on, Mona and Krista and Abby came on, and I said, I just emailed them an hour ago with this idea. So
I just had a meeting that finished early, and I thought I'd pop on between meetings to show my support.
Yay. Thank you.
You've been a great
so
support.
much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
This has been another part of the tribe.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
people coming in that have supported, and so appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we've
You've
all learned
been
from her
amazing.
too, right, Gil?
Say that again.
We've all learned from her too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've been amazing, Vicki.
Yeah.
Such an inspiration for the grace that you've shown through all of this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Been
I have to
amazing.
tell you, I was a little scared about coming on and doing this whole thing, and then now I'm like, wow, this is like a really nice deal.
This is how all LinkedIn Live should be.
This is like pumping me up.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
too.
So
Well,
fun.
it's good to see your face.
Oh, it's good to see you too.
Thanks for hopping on, Kelly.
Thank
especially
you.
Between
Bye,
all your
guys.
stuff. See you soon. Thank you.
Oh, so sweet.
That was really nice.
So many people. It's like tribe over here, tribe
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So many
Well, and
people
I'm sure that
supporting.
they're kicking me thinking, if you would have told me even 2 hours ago, they're probably thinking I could have dressed up or had some thoughts prepared, but it really just came to me an hour ago. So I wasn't sure who would be able
This
to
is so
hop on and
sweet.
join us. So, but yeah, and I just wanted you to have reinforcement of just by being yourself and that you really matter to us the whole time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny. I talked to Graham so many times, and his positive attitude through this whole thing has been such a big thing that we talked about, how much his positive attitude made a difference. He goes, well, what other choice did I have? And I kind of get that, because you can choose to be in the doldrums or like, woe is me, woe is me, as woe is me. And it's okay to be there for a little bit. We all have to feel those moments. And I don't want to say, you can't have that, but at some point it's the moving out of that. And I really love he's like, well, like there's another choice. And he goes, well, there is, but he goes, yeah, but I don't want that choice. And so you look at that and you're like, okay, so we're just going to keep moving ahead.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Well, and that I think that your focus on just moving ahead was, it kind of reminded me with my sister-in-law who passed away a couple years ago, and she fought valiantly for 9 months with stomach cancer, and but she never. I don't think she ever put it on Facebook or anything. She didn't really talk about it on social media. Excuse me. But she was, fighting strong and hard and doing what was right for her and what she needed to do. And I saw that same grace with you in the last year. And I didn't talk to Graham directly, but hearing what you would say about him is, where people just need to do things in their own way and what works for them. And
Exactly.
it was really inspiring to see how you all came through it together and came out the other side. So, how have you seen the other side with your unremarkable son now? How have you seen him stronger now or different in a more positive way than before the whole thing, before his cancer?
Um, let's see. Well, the positive, like I was asking what he wanted for Christmas the other day, and he goes, "I already got it." I'm like, "What?" He goes,
Oh,
"I'm alive." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
yeah.
Hit me in the heart a little bit more, kiddo. But it really is. He's starting to look to the future.
Mhm.
It's hard for a 25-year-old to feel. He gets more tired than I do, which he goes, "I shouldn't be the one that's getting tired."
Right.
And he expects to bounce back, but after you poison, your body's poisoned for about a year, takes a while.
It
And
might take him a couple more months.
yeah, it's going to take him a little bit longer than that, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's going to go through physical therapy and things like that. But it's
Mm.
really, he wants to move ahead. He's like, okay, what am I doing next? How am I moving? And, you know, a 25-year-old kid, he expected to be much further ahead than he is right now,
Mhm.
and he's not even a kid anymore. He's a young man, and but he's going to get there. And
Yeah.
the whole part of this, as you were talking, this is not about comparisons, right?
Right.
Because if I look at somebody and go, well, they're doing this, that's okay. It's not about
Right.
comparisons. It's about what are you doing and what's best for you. And that's something that we've talked quite a lot about in this family, because you can see all sorts of different sites and see how, this person did this and this person did that. This person did marathons and everything. I said, Graham, you're not
Mm.
that person.
Yeah.
You weren't that person before. So that's not
Right.
who you are now. And so it's really about who are you? What do you want? Moving yourself ahead, not comparing yourself to others, and
Mhm.
really listening to yourself, and it's like he's been saying, he gets tired. I'm like, you listen to your body, you know.
Yeah.
He's starting to walk now a lot too, and he won't get up as early as I do, but he still gets up and does his walk, and he comes back and goes, gosh, I'm wiped out. I'm like, yeah, but you're further along than you were in July.
Mhm.
So take their incremental and be happy with
Yeah.
that, and look for the good, the little incremental things that make the difference.
Yeah. Right on.
Mhm.
So good. And nobody's up as early as you. The birds are still sleeping when you're up, right, Renata? And the birds are still sleeping.
They are.
Yeah. What else do you do as far as your morning routine to set yourself up for the day?
you know, it's so much throughout the day. So I do limit myself on social media, believe it or not.
Oh,
I do think that's a very healthy thing to do. However much I do love it for my business, I do think that you set limits for yourself, because you can go down rabbit holes, and there can be lots of comparison there as well, and it's
mhm.
not always healthy. I don't
Yeah.
think everything people post, and I can be careful that I don't get involved into too many conversations. So I set limits with that. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what else I do. I try and make healthy foods, and
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention that health journey that you started a couple of years ago with
yeah.
nutrition and, making the meals ahead of time, and, I forgot what it was that you said that you would make on the weekend and get ready for the week, but probably lots of different things you do
Oh
that for.
yeah, my husband does a lot of grilling. I do a lot of
Yeah.
chopping. But we do a lot of meal planning, but it really is about some routines, and
Mhm.
making sure you do that. Limiting the social media, which is hard. I think Renata even says, Renata
Oh,
says,
yeah.
I set my alarm by Vicki.
Yeah.
If I'm running late, like if I do decide to sleep in a little bit, I'm sure she's going, where is she? Where is
It's going
she?
to throw off everybody.
What do you mean you're sleeping in? You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, sleeping in might be 5:30 or 6, right? But
Right.
then,
Right.
5 o'clock. But it really is about setting that routine and making sure I sleep. And I will tell you, there are some days because I get up so early and because this has been so exhausting, I will take a short nap.
Mhm.
And because I need it. Getting enough fluids, all those things are important. And then just getting in my routine of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to keep on moving myself forward. I've got lot of different projects I want to work on and trying to get those organized. And like I said, now that the fog is starting to rise,
Yeah.
I finished one project which you and I talked about briefly off the camera here. But I do have one project that I just am releasing tomorrow. And so, you know, doing the best I can.
Yeah. Big fan of naps. Renata likes naps too.
Yeah, I love naps. Just 20 minutes. I don't want more
Yeah.
than that because then I get
Same. I'm good
groggy.
with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes and I'm like ready to go. But sometimes
I
my
wonder
body
if,
just says enough.
yeah. I wonder if anybody who's watching Renata or Becca or anybody else has any questions for Vicki or anything else that you want to chime in. Becca supports naps too. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Thanks, Becca.
My mom's a big napper. I think
Me
that's
too. My mom
probably,
is too.
yeah. She always took an afternoon nap. So maybe that's where I get it from, but I love it. I probably
Did,
fought it when I was a kid, but not
yeah.
anymore.
Have you seen that meme that says, "Dear Naps, I'm sorry I was so mean to you when I was in kindergarten"?
No, but that would be very appropriate.
Yeah, me
Very
too.
appropriate.
I'm looking to see if anybody has any questions or comments for you. Additional comments. Several have come in. I don't see some yet. Well, I mentioned that you had done a social media audit for Voyage Consulting Group for my company. And then now you're doing the social media security sweep. So what's that about?
It's different than the audit, of course,
Yeah.
but it really what I have found over the last few months is I've had a lot of people reach out to me when they've gotten hacked out of their Facebook accounts.
Oh.
And once you're hacked out, it's very, very difficult to get it back. And we're
Mhm.
talking about identity theft. We're talking about if you have a business attached to it, how it could impact your business. And you don't know what somebody's going to do with that account. And there are precautions you can set up, and there are tips I can give everybody to preclude that from happening, but you got to do those things. And so I set up some specific, it actually came out of a meeting that I was in with several people. I brought this up and they're like, that should be a service. I'm like, oh, it should be. And next thing
Yeah.
you know, here I am, I've created it. Took me a little bit longer than probably normal, but it really helped me to go, okay, now what can I offer to people that they really, really need? And
Yeah.
it really is that online security. And it's not just with Facebook, although Facebook is the one I'm having all the calls about, but it can affect your other accounts.
Mhm.
And it's about passwords and two-factor authentication and all the little things that we do that put ourselves at risk every single day by going on
Mhm.
to our free social media accounts.
Yep. Well, and there's a lot more platforms that use the Facebook login. So if somebody breaks
Yes.
into Facebook, they have access to so many other
Yes.
tools and platforms too that can
Don't do that.
wreak havoc. Yeah, I don't do that. I haven't done
Yeah,
that
don't
before.
do that. If you're
Yeah,
listening here, do not don't use Facebook as your login for anything else.
yeah, that's good advice.
Yes.
So I'll post a link to that on the
Okay.
comments afterwards as well. Let's see what else. Oh, I was going to say, do you see any connection between resiliency and do you think that companies would benefit by focusing like the same kind of things that you guys have done as a family that companies would benefit by studying resiliency for themselves as we're coming out of this pandemic, hopefully?
Well, I think the pandemic probably has put it at some kind of level for everybody to go, okay, this took us for a loop. We weren't prepared for it. What do we do? But when it comes to something like what I just went through, or somebody that loses a family member, or has somebody that's going through this, I think that so much of what we need to do is first remind ourselves that this too shall pass, right?
Mm.
And I think that was one of the things that kept me going. But evaluate what's important. And if you do have people that are working for you, give them the support they need. That might be some time off. I hear
I
BB. Hi,
do. I'm so
BB.
sorry.
I love BB. I wish I
I
could see BB.
I thought she was going to be taken away for the whole time, but she came back in.
But I wanted people to understand what they were hearing in the
That's what they're
background
hearing.
there.
Yes.
So create a supportive culture for your employees. Rally around them. There so much you talk so much about company culture, and that really is so important. And I think that can be in so many ways that people need support. There's a lot of mental illness that's happening right now, or mental health that people need the support with. And I think having a culture that supports that, when you have somebody that's gone through an illness or has a family member going through an illness, or maybe even somebody that's passed, it's going to take them a while to get back up to where they were. And I think it's really important for us to create that culture that supports them, that they feel that even if they don't have the best of days, that people are, you know, rallying behind them, and that it's okay. And I think
Nice.
we need that.
Yeah. And giving the time after. So after, like, they would give 2 or 3 days for a funeral, then expect you to come back that third or fourth day and be 100%. And that's old school. So hashtag
Yes.
no dinosaurs. Don't be doing that. Right.
Right.
More
Right.
treat people like people that are going through these major things. And remember that more people are going through things than you might know too. So like
Yes.
your situation, you weren't talking about it every day in every meeting that I'd see you in. And,
I felt
there's
like I was, but maybe I wasn't.
no, not at all. And I mean, maybe giving an update because you were asked,
Yes.
but not sharing about the toll it was taking on your family or anything. And yeah, I think that's a great point that companies can be aware of. People have things going on and be empathetic for that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
helpful.
And so much of what people really are doing the best they can,
Yeah,
for the most part. And very rarely is somebody really just slacking off. We're really doing the best we can. And so when we keep that in mind and we approach people with that, maybe they need a different position for a time period, or maybe
mhm,
there is some paid time off, or there's some other support systems that you can do for them. Providing meals. I had so many people that supplied us with gift cards to not just restaurants, but to grocery stores, because they knew we didn't really eat up that much.
yeah,
And just support systems that allow you to not have to think about things. Think about how you're going to do something.
yeah,
And those things can make all the difference with the business. Um, I think, so much of what I do, I always talk about can and do's. And what can you do? Or
yeah,
that approach of, I can do this. And rallying around people saying, you can do this, we're here to support you. Getting your own attitude somewhere along the way, that I can do this, but I might need some help, and
mhm.
asking for it, which is so hard.
So hard, so hard.
And so I think those are things that we can, when we talk about businesses, we talk about culture, we talk about support, and realizing, if it was your family member, what would you want? Put yourself in
Mhm.
somebody else's shoes. So much as that's emotional intelligence, and being able to see that.
Yeah, so good. That's the number one thing people want right now is that emotional support. And they don't mean like a hug and a kiss from their boss or like you don't have to be their best friend, but just understanding and
Mhm.
basic empathy. And then going forward, more employees are going to expect that of their employer. And
Yes.
right now, it's a differentiator because some companies they can't figure out why nobody will work there, but some companies aren't having trouble finding people.
Right.
You
And
know,
it's so much about the company culture, which
yeah,
you train about so much.
yeah,
And it really is. And the companies that are willing to embrace that and understand that and seek to understand it, instead of when somebody approaches them with it going, no, we don't do that, but tell me more about that. Help
right,
me to understand that. Why is that important to you? When we approach our different situations like that rather than no. I think back before the pandemic, how many organizations said, "Oh no, nobody can work from home."
Right.
And because people were asking for it because they knew it was going to be better for them and better for their families and for their mental health to be able to
Mhm.
do that. And companies like, no, 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 we can't do that. And then all of a sudden, everybody has to work from home. Well,
Yeah.
those companies that didn't embrace it, they had like a learning curve straight up. They didn't know how to go about it, and it caught them off guard so far that
Yeah.
it put them behind.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if we would all learn, and I'm one of the people that have to learn it too, to lean in and to say to somebody, "That's not how I think, but tell me a little bit more about that. Help me understand it."
Yeah.
I think that we would think about how much better everything would be. I think
So
that makes a
good.
difference.
Yeah, I think our natural tendency, like you said, is to say, "Well, no, that's not what I think." Maybe say that and then say, "But tell me more so I can understand it,"
Mhm.
instead of freaking out that it's some new way. And then there was a lack of trust as well with employers that, oh, if people work from home, they're not going to get anything done. They're just going to be, you know, goofing off all day watching Netflix or whatever. And it turns out people got more done,
Yes.
especially without a commute.
Yes. And think of what that's done for their family, for
Yeah.
their mental health. Because I do my trainings, I talk to a lot of people and they've said, "Oh, they want us to start coming in." I don't know if I want to do that now
Yeah.
because I like not having to have a 2-hour commute. I like that I
Mhm.
can go and use that time to exercise and to food prep or whatever it is. I think those kinds of things mean something.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it'll be interesting how all of that flushes out in the next even year and
Mhm.
beyond. That I don't think work from home is going away, that's for sure.
No.
But how they'll hopefully the trust will deepen within organizations instead of the opposite of that. Any final thoughts to share on resilience and capacity?
I never thought I really had that much wisdom about it. And I think part of it is just keep reevaluating your priorities.
Mm,
And when you seek help when you need it, find a tribe of people that support you, um, and just um, think of the solutions rather than just looking at problems.
mm. And have faith that you'll be okay on the other side.
Hmm.
You might be resilient and come out even stronger on the other side, like Vicki did and her family. So, yay. Thank
Yay.
you so much.
Thank
I'll,
you. This
I'll
has
share
been
a bunch of
lovely.
the links for everybody in the chat or in the comments. A link to Vicki's website and to the social media security sweep I'll put in there too.
Oh, thank you so
So
much.
thank you for being a good role model of resilience and capacity, the art and of keeping it all together.
Probably a
And
lot more than I wanted, but yeah.
not too much, pretty good overall, I'd say. And your
Oh,
tribe appreciates you. And anybody else have, let's see, Becca commented, Rachel saying thank you. Anybody else have
thank you.
anything in the comments? Thank you
Thank
all for
you.
joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it. And I
thank
liked all the
you.
surprises.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you to all of those gals that showed up.
Well, bye, Renata. Thank you for joining us too.
Yeah,
Rachel
thank
and
you,
Becca and
Renata.
Renata. I think Terry might have already popped off, but
Oh yeah,
it's so good to see everybody here.
yeah. I haven't caught up with Terry in a while.
Mm-mm.
Yay! Thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going
Thank
to
you,
go ahead and
Kelly.
end. So, thank you, Vicki.
Appreciate you.